In a quiet village nestled between misty mountains and a whispering wood, there lived a princess named Ilara. But Ilara was not like the princesses in the stories the traveling bards told. She didn't swing swords or befriend dragons or explore enchanted forests. In fact, Princess Ilara was afraid of almost everything. She was afraid of the dark corners of the castle hallway. She was afraid of the creaky stairs that led to the tower. She was afraid of the geese in the courtyard. They hissed and their beaks looked very pointy. Most of all, she was afraid of the whispering wood that bordered her kingdom. In this village, the fear wasn't just Ilara's. It was everywhere. The bakers were afraid to try new recipes. The farmers were afraid to plant new crops. The knights were afraid to polish their armor too loudly in case it attracted trouble. Everyone kept small, quiet, and safe. And so, the kingdom, once known for its laughter, had grown dim and grey, like a room with the curtains permanently drawn. One afternoon, while hiding from a particularly loud bumblebee in the royal garden, Ilara discovered something unusual. Tucked beneath a large fern, half hidden in the moss, was a single, magnificent feather. It was longer than her hand and shimmered with colors she had never seen before: sunset, orange, twilight, purple, and a gold that seemed to glow from within. As she reached out to touch it, the feather pulsed with a gentle warmth, and a single clear thought popped into her head, as if someone had whispered it directly into her heart. "This feather holds the courage of 100 sunrises," Ilara gasped. Courage? She had always wished for courage. Carefully, she picked it up. The moment her fingers closed around the quill, a wonderful feeling spread through her. The bumblebee, which had been buzzing nearby, suddenly seemed less like a monster and more like a fuzzy, busy little friend. That evening, she carried the feather to dinner. The long, dark hallway to the great hall didn't feel quite so scary. She walked with her head held a little higher. The next day, something remarkable happened. The royal cook, a kind woman named Marta, burst into tears. "The miller's cart is stuck in the mud by the old bridge," she cried. "They have all the flour for the week. No one will go help because the bridge is right next to the Whispering Wood." Everyone in the castle looked at their feet. The wood, with its dark, ancient trees, was a source of deep fear. Ilara felt the familiar flutter of panic in her tummy. But then she remembered the feather in her pocket. She clutched it tight. The warmth bloomed in her chest, pushing the fear aside. "I'll go," she said, her voice a little squeaky but clear. The court fell silent. The princess go near the wood? With the feather's warmth guiding her, Ilara marched to the bridge. The wood loomed close, its shadows deep and mysterious. But when she focused on the feather, the shadows just looked like trees, and the mysterious rustling just sounded like wind. She found the millers, helped them push the cart free, and returned to the castle a hero. The villagers peeked out of their windows and smiled. For the first time in years, a little color seemed to seep back into the village. Every day after that, Ilara found a reason to use her feather. She used it to shoo the hissing geese. She used it to climb the creaky tower stairs and retrieve a kitten that was stuck. She used it to try a new kind of berry tart the baker had been too afraid to make. Each time she used it, she felt stronger, brighter. But one evening, she took the feather from her pocket to admire it, and her heart sank. The brilliant colors had faded. The sunset orange was now a pale peach, and the twilight purple was a soft gray. The golden glow was barely a flicker. The feather was growing dim. A terrible thought struck her. What would happen when the light went out? Would her courage go with it? Would she go back to being the scared little princess, hiding from bumblebees? Panic clawed at her. She decided she must save the feather's power. She would only use it for the most important things, the things that required the most courage. The very next day, a true challenge appeared. A little boy named Pip had chased his puppy, Scamp, right to the edge of the Whispering Wood. Now Scamp was inside, barking at something, and Pip stood at the edge, crying, "Please," he begged the adults who had gathered, "someone get Scamp!" But everyone shook their heads. "It's the Whispering Wood," they murmured. "It's too dangerous." Ilara saw the fear on their faces. She saw Pip's tears. Her hand flew to her pocket, to the fading feather. This was it. The big test. She had to use it. But as her fingers touched the cool quill, she hesitated. What if she used the last of its light and wasn't brave enough to actually go into the wood? What if it failed her? She pulled the feather out. It was so pale now, like a memory of itself. She looked from the dim feather to the dark wood, to the crying boy, and in that moment, something shifted inside her. She remembered the feeling of helping the Millers. She remembered the pride on her father's face when she'd climbed the tower. She remembered the taste of the new berry tart. Those feelings weren't in the feather. They were in her. The feather hadn't created her courage. It had just helped her find it. Gently, so very gently, Princess Ilara tucked the feather back into her pocket. She didn't need to borrow courage anymore. She took a deep breath. Her heart was hammering, but her feet started to move. One step toward the wood, then another. "Princess, no!" the villagers cried. But Ilara kept walking. The shadows of the Whispering Wood closed around her. It was dark and cool, and the trees did seem to whisper. But as she listened, she realized they weren't whispering scary things. They were whispering secrets about the squirrels hiding nuts, about the stream that sang to the moon, about the mushrooms that glowed at night. And there, tangled in a bramble bush, was Scamp, wagging his tail. "Hey there, little fellow," Ilara said, her voice sounding brave and true in the quiet wood. She carefully untangled him. He licked her nose. Ilara laughed. A real, full laugh that echoed through the trees. The sound didn't feel scary at all. It felt like it belonged. She walked back out of the wood, the wriggling puppy in her arms. The sunlight felt warm on her face. The villagers gasped. Pip ran forward, crying with joy as he grabbed Scamp. Ilara stood there, not because she was brave, but because she had just done a brave thing. She reached into her pocket and pulled out the feather. It was completely white now, like an ordinary feather. Its borrowed light was gone, but as she looked at it, she noticed something. The sun, hitting the ordinary white feather, made it shimmer. It reflected the gold of her hair, the purple of the wildflowers at her feet, the orange of a butterfly's wing. It wasn't glowing on its own anymore. It was reflecting the light that was already there. Just like her courage, it had never been about the feather. It had always been about her. Word spread of what the princess had done. If the princess could walk into the Whispering Wood and come out laughing, then maybe a farmer could try planting a new crop. Maybe a baker could experiment with a new recipe. Maybe a knight could polish his armor and let it shine. The village began to change. Color returned to the houses, the gardens, and the people's cheeks. The grey fog of fear lifted, chased away by the sunshine of courage. Princess Ilara kept the white feather on her windowsill. It was a beautiful reminder of the friend who had helped her find her way. But she never, ever needed to borrow courage again. She had discovered the greatest secret of all, that true courage isn't a spark you find, but a flame you already carry inside. You just have to be brave enough to let it light your own way.